As most of the solutions are highly commercial, this is not a philanthropic activity. You need to find that space, that community where everyone can feel that they've got the space to grow, they've got the support, and they've got the direction.
For years, Prince William has prepared quietly for the moment he will one day become king. He has watched, learned, and waited as the royal system around him continued in its long tradition. But when the crown finally passed from King Charles III to him, everything could begin to change. But will he follow the same path, or will he take a very different direction? What do you think will happen to Queen Camilla and the people closest to her? Share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more royal updates. Stay tuned, as in this video, we'll explore William's first 10 possible acts as king. Number 10. Immediate accession to the throne. The moment the previous monarch passes away, the transfer of power happens immediately, and without any delay. At that exact second, Prince William would automatically become king. There is no waiting period, no vote, and no special approval needed. This long-standing rule has been followed for hundreds of years and is captured in the famous phrase, "The king is dead, long live the king." This simple sentence carries a deep meaning. It shows that even though one ruler has passed away, the monarchy itself never stops. Leadership continues without any break. This instant change is very important for stability. A country cannot afford to be without a leader, even for a short time. By making the transition automatic, the system avoids confusion, arguments, or uncertainty. Everyone knows exactly who the next monarch is the moment the previous one passes away. This helps maintain order and trust in the system, especially during a time of national sadness. As soon as the death is officially confirmed, William's new role begins. He does not need to wait for a coronation ceremony to become king. The coronation is only a formal and symbolic event that takes place later, sometimes after several months. The real transfer of authority happens instantly. From that moment on, William would carry all the powers, duties, and responsibilities of the monarch. His title would also change right away. He would no longer be known as Prince William. Instead, he would be addressed as King William. His wife would also receive a new title and become queen. These changes happen immediately, showing that the monarchy has smoothly moved from one person to the next. Within 24 hours of the monarch's death, an official announcement is usually made to inform the public. Shortly after that, an important meeting called the Accession Council takes place. This group includes senior government officials, religious leaders, and other key figures. They formally confirm William as the new king and make a public proclamation. This step is not what makes him king, but it officially recognizes and announces his new position. At the same time, the country would enter a period of mourning. Flags may be lowered, public events may be paused, and ceremonies will be held to honor the life of the late monarch. While people reflect on the past, attention also turns to the future and what the new king's reign will bring. For William, this moment would be life-changing. In a single second, his role, responsibilities, and identity would shift completely. He would move from being a prince to becoming the head of state and a central figure in national life. Although ascending the throne is important, but there is another very interesting role he will play. Let's explore. Number 9. Choosing regnal name. When Prince William becomes king, one of the first and most meaningful choices he will face is selecting his regnal name. A regnal name is the official name a monarch uses during their reign. It is the name that will appear in history books, on official documents, and in public memory. Even though it may seem like a simple decision, it carries deep importance because it helps define how the new king presents himself to the nation and the world. William has the option to keep his own first name and become William V. If he chooses this, it would place him in a long line of kings who have carried the name William before him. This choice would show continuity and respect for tradition. It would also feel familiar to the public, since people already know him as William. In times of change, such as when a new monarch takes the throne, familiarity can be comforting and help create a sense of stability. However, he is not required to keep the name William. Like many royals, he has multiple names, including Arthur, Philip, and Louis. He could choose any of these as his regnal name if he feels one of them better represents the kind of king he wants to be. For example, Selecting the name Arthur might bring to mind the legendary King Arthur, a symbol of leadership and unity. Choosing Philip could be seen as a tribute to his grandfather, while Louis could connect him to earlier royal traditions. Each option carries its own meaning and message. History shows that monarchs have made different choices when it comes to their regnal names. Some have stayed with their birth names, while others have chosen new ones to mark a fresh start or to honor important figures from the past. This decision is often influenced by personal feelings, public expectations, and the image the new monarch wants to create. If William decides to remain William V, it would likely be seen as a steady and straightforward choice. It would suggest that he values continuity and wants to build on what came before him. On the other hand, choosing a different name could signal a new chapter, showing that he intends to shape his reign uniquely. It might also draw attention to certain values or traditions that he wishes to highlight. Number 8. First address to the nation. When Prince William becomes king, one of the first and most important things he would do is speak directly to the nation. This moment is often called the first address to the nation, and it usually happens very soon after the death of the previous monarch. In this case, William would step forward following the passing of King Charles III, and the whole country, along with people around the world, would be watching and listening carefully. The speech would be shown on television and shared online so that millions of people can hear his words at the same time. It would be a serious and emotional moment because the nation would still be mourning the loss of the former king. William's first duty in the speech would be to honor his father. He would likely speak about King Charles III's life, his years of service, and the work he did for the country. He might also share personal memories, giving people a glimpse into their relationship as father and son. After paying tribute, William would begin to talk about his new role as king. He would explain how deeply he understands the responsibility placed on him. Becoming king is not just about wearing a crown or living in a palace. It is about serving the people, protecting traditions, and guiding the country through both good times and difficult moments. In simple and clear words, he would try to reassure the public that he is ready for this role. William would also use this speech to share his values. Over the years, he has shown strong interest in issues like mental health, environmental protection, and supporting young people. In his address, he might speak about continuing this kind of work, but now on a much larger scale. He would likely promise to serve with honesty, respect, and a strong sense of duty. This helps people understand what kind of king he wants to be. Another important part of the speech would be unity. During times of change, people can feel uncertain or worried. William might speak about the nation's strength and the importance of standing together. As interesting as his speech may be, what comes next is even more surprising. Number 7. Camilla will leave Clarence House. Charles and Camilla have been living at Clarence House since 2003. That means they have stayed there for more than 20 years, and it is the place where Charles has lived the longest as an adult. Even after Charles became king, they decided to remain there instead of moving into Buckingham Palace. However, Clarence House does not fully belong to Camilla, and it does not fully belong to Charles either. It is owned by the Crown, which means it belongs to the monarchy and is passed on from one king or queen to the next. Because of this, it is not clear if Camilla will be allowed to keep her rooms there once Prince William becomes king. That decision will not be hers to make. It will be William's choice. In his book Spare, Prince Harry wrote that after he moved out, Camilla changed his old bedroom into a dressing room. He said he tried not to feel bothered by it, but when he saw it, he felt hurt and upset at first. Camilla does have her own private home called Ray Mill House. She bought it in 1996 for £850,000 after her divorce. According to a friend quoted in the Telegraph, it is the only place where she feels completely relaxed and at peace. Still, if she were asked to leave Clarence House and spend more time at her country home, it could be seen as a public reduction in her royal status and influence. Now, as we move away from Camilla, a more settling story about him meeting the Prime Minister comes next. Let's take a closer look. Number 6. Meeting the Prime Minister. When Prince William becomes king, one of the most important early steps in his new role will be meeting the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. This meeting is known as an official audience, and it is a long-standing tradition that has been followed by British monarchs for many generations. It is not just a formal event, but a key part of how the monarchy and the government stay connected and work together within the country's system. In the United Kingdom, the monarch is the head of state, while the prime minister is the head of government. This means that although the king does not run the country on a daily basis, he still plays an important role in supporting the system of government. When William meets the prime minister for the first time as king, it will mark the beginning of their working relationship. This relationship is guided by rules and customs that have developed over hundreds of years. During this first meeting, the prime minister will likely update the king on current national matters. These may include political issues, economic conditions, and important decisions facing the country. The king, in turn, will listen carefully, ask questions, and offer his thoughts if appropriate. Although the monarch does not make political decisions, he has the right to be informed, to advise, and to warn. These rights are an important part of the constitutional system and help ensure balance and continuity in leadership. This audience is also symbolic. It shows that even as a new king takes the throne, the structure of government remains stable. The meeting sends a clear message to the public and the world that the transition of power has taken place smoothly. It reflects the idea that while individuals may change, the system itself continues without interruption. The meeting between the king and the prime minister is not a one-time event. After this first audience, they will continue to meet regularly, often on a weekly basis. These regular meetings are private, allowing both sides to speak openly and honestly. This privacy is important because it builds trust and allows for meaningful discussions about sensitive issues. For William, this first meeting will also be a moment of adjustment. As a prince, he would have observed these traditions from a distance, but as king, he will now take an active role in them. He will need to quickly understand the responsibilities that come with his position and how to carry them out effectively. At the same time, the prime minister will also adjust to working with a new monarch. Each king or queen brings their own personality and approach to the role, so the relationship between the monarch and the prime minister can vary slightly depending on the individuals involved. Number 5. Accession Council Ceremony. The Accession Council ceremony is one of the most important and symbolic moments that follows the death of a British monarch. It is a formal gathering held at St. James's Palace, one of the oldest royal residences in London. This historic building has long been used for key royal events, and it becomes the center of national attention during this ceremony. When Prince William becomes king, this ceremony would take place very soon after his automatic rise to the throne. Even though he becomes king immediately at the moment of the previous monarch's death, the Accession Council exists to officially confirm and announce this to the government and the public in a clear and formal way. The Accession Council is made up of important figures in the United Kingdom. These include senior politicians, members of the Privy Council, church leaders, and other high-ranking officials. Among them would be the Prime Minister, senior judges, and archbishops. Their role is to witness and support the formal declaration of the new monarch. The ceremony itself is divided into two main parts. In the first part, the council meets without the new king present. During this stage, they officially proclaim that Prince William is now king. This proclamation is read aloud and later shared with the public across the country. It is also traditionally read in public places, including outside the palace, so that people can hear the announcement directly. In the second part of the ceremony, King William enters the room and meets the council members for the first time as monarch. This is a powerful and emotional moment as it marks his first official act in his new role. During this part, he is required to take an important oath. In this oath, he promises to uphold the Constitution of the United Kingdom and to protect the Church, especially the Church of England, of which the monarch serves as the supreme governor. Even though the king does not directly control the government, he plays an important constitutional role and must act within the rules of the system. Number 4. Approval of mourning and funeral plans. When a monarch passes away, the country enters a very serious and emotional period. In this situation, Prince William, as the new king, would have an important duty to oversee and approve the official mourning period and the state funeral arrangements for the previous monarch. This is not just a family matter, but a national event that involves the whole country and even the wider Commonwealth. As soon as the previous monarch passes away, careful plans that were already prepared in advance would begin to be put into action. These plans are detailed and organized over many years so that everything can be carried out smoothly. However, William would still have the final responsibility to review and approve them. This means he would confirm the length of the national mourning period, the type of ceremonies that will take place, and the overall structure of the funeral events. The mourning period is a time when the country shows respect and sadness. During this time, flags are usually flown at half-mast on government buildings, military bases, and public institutions. Public events may be reduced or cancelled, and leaders across the world send messages of sympathy. William would decide, together with government officials, how long this period should last. For instance, it could last around 10 days to 14 days depending on tradition and circumstances, but the exact timing would be confirmed by him. He would also oversee the planning of the state funeral itself. A state funeral is a very formal and public ceremony that honors the life and service of the monarch. It usually includes a procession, a religious service, and a burial or cremation ceremony. William would work closely with the Prime Minister, senior members of the royal household, military leaders, and religious leaders to ensure that every detail is handled with respect and dignity. Security arrangements would also be extremely important. Large crowds are expected to gather to pay their final respects, so police and military forces would be involved in keeping order and ensuring safety. Transportation, public viewing areas, and television broadcasts would also be carefully organized so that millions of people can follow the event. In addition, William would make sure that the wishes of the late monarch are respected as much as possible. Many monarchs leave behind instructions about their funeral preferences, including music, readings, and personal choices. These wishes would be reviewed and included in the final arrangements where appropriate. Throughout this process, William would also represent the royal family emotionally and officially. He would need to balance personal grief with his public role as king. He would likely attend planning meetings, review schedules, and give final approval to key decisions, ensuring that everything reflects both national tradition and personal respect for the monarch who has passed away. And just when it seems like losing the king is painful, the next act is even more emotional and heartbreaking. Number 3. Beginning of royal mourning period. When a British monarch passes away, the royal family does not immediately return to normal life. Instead, they begin a formal period known as the beginning of the royal mourning period. This is a very important time filled with respect, tradition, and carefully followed rules. It is not just a personal moment of sadness for the family, but also a national moment of reflection, because the monarch is a symbol of the country. At the very start of this period, the new king and senior members of the royal family, including Prince William in a future scenario, would immediately stop most public activities. Official engagements, celebrations, and many social events are either cancelled or postponed. The focus shifts completely to honoring the life and service of the previous monarch. Everything becomes more serious and quiet in tone. During this time, the royal household follows strict ceremonial traditions that have been developed over many years. These traditions are not random. They are carefully planned and guided by official royal protocols. One of the first visible signs of mourning is the change in dress. Members of the royal family often wear black or very dark clothing to show respect. This is a symbol of grief and unity with the nation. Another important tradition is the lowering of flags. Flags at royal residences, government buildings, and other official locations are lowered to half-mast. This shows that the country is in mourning. The public also sees announcements made in a respectful and formal tone, informing them of the passing and the next steps. Inside royal residences, there are also private moments of reflection. Family members gather to support each other emotionally while also preparing for upcoming ceremonies. Even though they are grieving personally, they still have important duties to perform. This balance between personal emotion and public responsibility is a key part of royal life. During the early days of mourning, preparations also begin for the official funeral. These plans are highly detailed and involve coordination between the royal household, government officials, and security services. Every step is carefully organized, from the location of the ceremony to the processions and public viewing arrangements. Prince William, in such a situation, would also take on more responsibility. He would support the continuation of royal duties and help maintain stability during this sensitive time. His role would involve both private family support and public-facing duties, showing leadership and calmness. The mourning period is also a time when the public is encouraged to show respect. Many people may leave flowers, messages, or gather in designated areas outside royal palaces. Television and media coverage also shifts tone, focusing on respectful remembrance of the monarch's life and service. Though losing a beloved one is touching, but carrying out the first duties as the king is heartwarming. Number 2. First state duties as king. When a new king begins his reign, one of the first things he must do is start carrying out official state duties. For William, this would mean quickly stepping into a very formal and serious role, where he represents the country at the highest level. These early actions are not just symbolic. They show that the monarchy is continuing without interruption, and that the government still functions smoothly under a new monarch. One of the first duties would be signing official documents. These documents are important papers connected to the running of the country. They may include laws passed by Parliament, official appointments, and state decisions that require the monarch's approval. Even though the king does not personally create these laws, his signature gives them formal approval. This tradition is part of how the constitutional monarchy works in the United Kingdom. For Prince William, this would be a new responsibility, requiring careful attention and a strong understanding of his role as head of state. Another early duty would be holding audiences. This means meeting important people in private meetings. These people may include government ministers, military leaders, religious figures, and other senior officials. During these meetings, the king listens to updates about the country and discusses important matters. These meetings are usually formal and follow strict rules. William would need to learn how to manage these conversations with respect, neutrality, and patience, since the monarch is expected to remain politically neutral at all times. Receiving ambassadors would also be an important part of his early duties. Ambassadors are official representatives from other countries. When they arrive in the United Kingdom, they often present their credentials to the king in a formal ceremony. This act shows that their country recognizes the new monarch and wishes to maintain good diplomatic relations. Number 1. Planning his coronation. When William becomes king, one of the most important early steps is the planning of his coronation. This is a very old and highly symbolic ceremony that officially confirms him as the new monarch in a public and religious way. Even though he becomes king the moment the previous monarch passes away, the coronation is what makes the role feel fully complete in the eyes of the public and history. Planning for the coronation would begin soon after he takes the throne, but the ceremony itself would usually take place many months later. This delay is normal because it allows enough time for careful preparation. A coronation is not a simple event. It involves many different groups, including the royal household, government officials, religious leaders, security teams, and planners who handle public events. The main location for the ceremony would be Westminster Abbey, a historic church in London that has been used for coronations for many centuries. This place is very important in British tradition. Almost every English and British monarch has been crowned there for hundreds of years, making it a powerful symbol of continuity and history. During the planning stage, many decisions would need to be made. One of the first is choosing the exact date of the coronation. This date is carefully selected so that it gives enough time for preparation, but also respects national mourning for the previous monarch. The royal family usually waits through a respectful period before holding any major celebrations. Another important part of planning is deciding how the ceremony will look and feel. The coronation includes religious prayers, music, formal oaths, and symbolic actions. William would need to take an oath during the ceremony, promising to serve the country and respect its laws and traditions. Every detail, from the words spoken to the order of events, is carefully arranged. The planning also involves organizing guests. Many important people would be invited, including members of the royal family, political leaders, judges, military leaders, and representatives from other countries. Seating arrangements, invitations, and security all need to be carefully managed. Security is another major concern. Because this is a global event watched by millions of people, strong protection would be put in place. Roads around the area would be controlled, and security teams would work closely with different agencies to keep everyone safe. In addition, there would be planning for television coverage and media. The coronation is usually broadcast live so that people around the world can watch it. However, rehearsals would take place before the actual day. These rehearsals help make sure that every step of the ceremony goes smoothly. So what do you think about William acting as king? Do you believe he will treat Camilla and her family so harshly? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.